radio show with your host, Lonnie Clark. We stand together and accept that we now live in a world transformed by Fukushima. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time here on UCY.TV radio. We relentlessly engage every ear that listens. We expose and confront the complete lack of accountability for the nuclear industry. Consider social engineering programs who view our bodies, minds, and souls as assets on a balance sheet. We discuss vital current issues, interview activists, and engage our audience in an effort to allow all voices to be heard. The Age of Fission radio show creates a venue that all will choose. We encourage our listeners to reclaim their power and their courage to take action and save our planet from the ravages of greed and indifference. Our actions matter. Every voice matters. We remind our listeners that happiness is resistance. Love is greater than fear.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you. Welcome back to UCY TV. I am Sunshine On, and I am filling in today for Barry Prince from The Big Puzzle. And I appreciate everyone for being here. I have a really interesting topic today that I'd like to talk about. It's a science health technology that I'm learning about that really isn't known so much here in the United States, I'm coming to find out. But over in Europe and other places, it's something that a technology that is really has a big movement behind it. And when I first learned about it, I felt as though this is really something that is going to be the next wave in really helping us to, in our health industry and in electronics. I mean, it's amazing technology. Let's put it like that. What I'm talking about is plasma health healing technology using Tesla coils and just all the energy that comes with that. So I thought I would start with kind of a little bit of a explanation, read a few definitions of terms. I know that's where I had to start in my research. One of the things that I find really interesting is that we are electric beings. There's a lot of electricity that our body runs off of. Our brains are electromagnetic, our hearts, those are all electromagnetic impulses, our cells, all of this. There's something really to us being electrical beings. And when it comes to our health, when it comes to our environment, I think it's a technology that is really in the forefront. Kind of getting away from those synthetic kind of healing practices that really has just, in my opinion, kept us very sick still. Really isn't healing us. It's just keeping us dependent on Big Pharma. So one of the things that I'm learning about is the Tesla coils. There's a organization called the Ochelli Foundation. Dr. Ochelli has developed a plasma technology, and with using Tesla coils and plasma GANs, and I'll get into all those definitions. But he is a neuroengineer who came up with this MagRave using the Tesla coils. This is an energy, also uses the plasma products. So MagRave's plasma products. The great thing about this whole thing right here is here's a doctor who actually has come up with a technology, a science. He's patented that information, and then he's made it open source to the public, which is fantastic. What I've also come to find out in doing this research is that these are technologies that we can do right at home. And that is fantastic. Now, the different products that are coming with this Maggraves plasma energy kind of stuff is you can make energy power devices. There's power supplies, so reduce your electric bill. This kind of mechanical sort of power. Then there's also the plasma products, which is a combination of both in extracting the plasma and then the energy that comes from that nanoparticle, and how that energy actually it can be absorbed into and used so many ways, from environmentally to our own health. So let's kind of I'm winging it here because I'm still in I'm just like everybody else. I'm still in the whole research process. But I really wanted to call this to everyone's attention. I really think this is something that people can do their research on and really find out more about it. So I went into some definitions, and bioelectrical is a term that's being used more and more in the health industry. And so it's bioelectrical and magnetic alternative health products. So these are things that are really paying attention to our electric being and the magnetism, how all of that works together within our cells and our body functions. So here's one of the things on a great website that I found about the bioelectric and magnetic alternative health. The human body functions on electric, magnetic, and chemical energy. It is any wonder why these devices, using the applications of electricity, magnetism, and chemistry, are beginning to be considered as visible candidates for the treatment or prevention of many diseases, even aging. Well, there you go. There is much to be learned, but it is still an alternative to healthcare that is more natural rather than synthetic. And the Ochelli Foundation has been doing really good research in how, like, our everyday diseases, pain even, can be helped through this technology. So let's see what we've got here. I wanted to see one of the things that really fascinates me, and I learned this a long time ago. There's really something to this whole electromagnetism. Our brains, right, work off of this electromagnetic impulses, hook it up to, brain monitoring machines, and it can read all of those pulses and how that works. Then we have our heart. Our heart also works off of electromagnetic impulses, but it can be read up to 15 feet away from us, wireless. I find that fascinating, and I kind of get the impression that this is how we're kind of all connected to each other as human beings, as living beings, in connection with our planet, the planet life, animals, each other. I think this is something that they're doing a lot of research into, and it's terminology that is really being used in the health industry. One of the things about the heart and the brain, there is, here's another page right here that's talking about the heart has its own brain and consciousness. Well, now that's fascinating to me. I would really like to learn more about that, but it kind of seems like someplace inside of myself that I feel that somewhere in me, that there is something about this heart and mind, mind, body, spirit, that kind of thing. So I really am very, very interested in learning more about this. I'm not a scientist. I'm just an everyday person like everybody else, and I'm learning so much about the electric part of our being and this planet and the universe and how it all works together. There's energies that are produced everywhere naturally. And there's a lot of energies that are associated with even the planets and the stars and the constellations and the movement of all of those things and how it all moves together. The moon, we already know that the moon controls the tide waves. So the point I'm trying to get across is that I think that we really have not been as aware as we needed to be about our electrical state of being, and the being able to understand those things in our everyday lives, I'm coming to find out, is huge. In understanding how the energies, like for instance the moon with the tides, there's so many studies that already talk about how when the moon is in its full moon cycle that people are more energized. It's the statistic out there talks about the crime rate, but I think that there's more to it than that, obviously. And really, what if we had done studies or have been doing studies, or there was more knowledge just from us as humanity about that we would be able to better understand ourselves and how we would, when we're in a time that is more beneficial for us, when we might want to just sit back and chill for a second. So it's really information that I'm doing a lot of studying into. And I know I am very ground level right here. And I'm kind of hoping that you guys will jump in and take that journey yourself. It's really, really fascinating to me. So one of the things about the heart, it says here, compared to the electromagnetic field produced by the brain, the electrical components of the heart field is about 60 times greater in amplitude and permeates every cell in the body. Now, these studies go on, and it influences everything, our emotions, not just our physical mechanics, but our biology, but our emotions and our connectedness as a species. They've done a lot of studies into how the mother-child bond, even in utero, with the heartbeat, that this is a part of the whole process from the very start. And we really, I think, need to be learning more about this. There's people who've been doing a lot of really good research. I don't really like the fact that here in the United States, we're not really being taught a lot of things. And in other countries seem to be more familiar with it. And even in the word plasma, in looking at that definition, getting a wiki on it, it's really amazing how much more information is available in other countries, and not so much here. When you Google search those kinds of things, that to me just tells me right there that this is something that we should probably know about. So let's go on. So we have the brain rhythm. It affects the respiratory. It affects blood pressure. We're talking about the osculatory system. I have no idea what that is. So the heart rhythm. This is the electromagnetic impulses of our own heart. Really significant. There's excellent foundations. Now I looked into wanting to do like collective consciousness kind of thing, where people at the same time, the same day are focusing their intent on something, and how that really seems to work. One of the things that has been proven in those studies, say for instance in your own community, it only takes like 7 people once a week to get together to have put positive intent into their community, and this is already being shown to reduce crime rate. That is amazing. If we can do that with just 7 people within our community, imagine what we could do together as a people across the planet. In my opinion, I think we we have the ability to really change everything around. And so learning about this is, I think, vital in understanding ourselves and our health, the health of this planet, being able to heal each other, heal the planet. I think anything's possible. So let's continue on here. So there we've kind of covered some of the whole electromagnetic information, kind of get a base understanding of what that's about. Now, the other energy side of this technology is about the Tesla coils. And Nikola Tesla, of course, I'm sure everybody has pretty much heard about who he is and his technologies that unfortunately were obviously not provided to us. Really frustrating to me. I imagine that the world would be a much different place if we were using that kind of technology to generate our energy rather than a fossil fuel resource type that's stripping the planet and doing its great work. So, yes, of course, once again, it's technology that we're really being kept from. But it's available out there, and little baby steps are being taken by people to develop this technology into energy sources. And again, here's the greatest part, is it is something that you can do right from home. And I'm really looking into using that technology as a way to counteract the negative electric that is in our environment these days. The Wi-Fi electric, all of our computers and devices, all of it. I can tell you right here where I live, they had a state-funded grant, whatever it was. I live in a mobile home park, and they just installed smart meters around my entire park. So right now, I have smart meters within 50 yards of me in a 360 degrees. I'm surrounded. I can also tell you that when I'm up at the side of the house where that smart meter is located, that I can definitely hear it. Last night, I just spent 5 days discussing some issues with the electric company. Had to call them 5 times. And I don't think that they were too happy with me. I'm not sure of what's going on, but there's a high-pitched sound that started yesterday that is off the hook. So somebody please turn that down. Just kidding. Really, though, I think that there's enough study and evidence in that regard that this is really not good for us. So what if there was a technology that could counteract all of that? If we could just put it in our homes, make it ourselves, put it in our homes, and it counteracts all of that. There seems to be some evidence of that. And there's the copper coils that are, literally, I just went the other day and bought some materials myself to try and make some of these things myself. It's not a matter of try. I'm going to make some of these things. It's that easy. And once you start looking into how it works, the way that the energy flows, and harness that, and then it produces, pulling the electric right out of the ether, right around the air, right all around us. They're doing huge studies in the electromagnetic pulsing of like our electronics and how this actually seems to really help. Pyramid technology, we're talking about incorporating everything, geometry, the pyramid shape, all of these things, all of these really ancient knowledge that has been around for centuries, that we seem to have lost that knowledge. And there seems to be something to it. I've also been looking into like the energy that comes from stones and crystals. I think it all fits together. I think it's technology that was used, ancient knowledge that was actually in play at some point in time, and we just lost that. So let's bring it back, and it is up to us. And again, the great thing about it is that you can do it right from home. So when it comes to the Tesla coils, this is, again, knowledge that has been out there for a really long time. We know it works. You can build your own Tesla coil device. They've been with the Maggrave, which is the Keshe Foundation technology. And you incorporate that, and then you incorporate plasma. So now we're getting like really deep, right? The Tesla coils is not that difficult. Kids are building them in school now. It's pretty common knowledge. They're doing a lot with it. I wish they would do more. I think people are trying. I think there are scientists that are really, really trying to get this information out there so that we're not destroying the planet anymore. We're using this technology to really help ourselves. I would like to not have an electric bill. I'd like to not have a Wi-Fi smart meter out in front of my house. The great thing about that, too, I just got to get back to that smart meter for a second now. I'm not really deep into the whole how bad Wi-Fi is, as I pretty much can believe it, because I can hear it. Well, actually, I went to the Redwoods. I know I'm skipping around. I went to the Redwoods this past summer. I spent 10 days up there, and so I was off grid. I came back, and I'm in pain a lot. You know, my feet are bad, my knees are bad, whatever. I'm just getting older, right? So I go out to the Redwoods off grid. Now I was prepared to go hiking and do all these things. I brought my insoles for my feet, my knee braces, all of that, expecting to be in a lot of pain. I wasn't in pain for one single day, one single minute that I was up there, which is amazing to me. I never had to use the knee brace. I never had to put the, insoles in my shoes, none of that. When I came back, within 2 days, my body was riddled with pain again. And the common denominator there seems to be the electronics. So there's something to being outside, grounding with the natural energy of the earth. I didn't go up there with any intent for any of that. I just went to go visit a friend and get off of grid. So that's huge for me, which is kind of what started me down this path. Was I needed to know what was going on. Why am I in pain? What's going on with this electromagnetic stuff? I was introduced to somebody who's down in Peru, who's doing fantastic work down there. They've got a whole center and an education program, and they do everything with the Tesla coil technology, the Maggrave, the plasma. This is being used. They're using it to make clean water. They're using it to keep the environment, their plant life, help grow the plants healthier, bigger, stronger. They're doing sanctuaries for the animals because the forestation down there, and they're being displaced, and really helping that whole scenario out. They're looking into the electric technologies to help reduce or even eliminate being connected to the electrical grid, housing the whole communities that are off grid, and using all of these technologies in that way. And I think that research should definitely be supported, and it is going on. I would love to live off of grid and be able to not have to be around this kind of electrical environment. So let's talk about the plasma for a minute. Because the plasma, again, it was so difficult to find, really, which was just amazing to me, that it wasn't easier to find information about plasma. There's a wiki page that has different categories for plasma. There's physics, there's biology, mineralogy, computing, and then there's all these different ways to use plasma. I can see, for me, it would be really confusing because it's used in so many different ways. Well, what's the deal with this plasma? If it can be used in all these different ways, there must be something to it. It's been on my radar for some time, but it's only been recently that I'm seeing why it was on my radar and wanting to learn more about how it can help me biologically. The energy is one thing, the physics of it, but the biology seems to really hit home for me. And I have I've got a lot of friends actually, which is really amazing now that I think about it, how many of them are suffering from pain and how many are sick, how many people have issues with blood pressure and diabetes and, cancer even. Dr. Keshi and the Keshi Foundation is doing research with this plasma GANs technology that is healing all of those things. Alzheimer's patients, are you ready for this? There's doctors that are to treat Alzheimer's, and because of the metals and such that have really made us very sick in neurotoxins for our brains, there's something about this plasma GANs and using it in our health that is healing all of those things. And this doctor, I was amazed. He's saying, we've been taught incorrectly about how to heal people. So, with all that being said, now that's a lot, that covers a lot of things. They're talking about it really healing hypertension, blood pressure, diabetes. Now, I'm not a doctor. This is the science that's going on right now. And if I do have hypertension, but if you have any of those things right there, and you want to consider alternatives to the poison of chemotherapy, I know for myself, I would do that. I would look for alternatives to that. And this really seems to be something that works. So in plasma biology, we've got all kinds of different categories. Okay, I think most of us are familiar with the blood plasma, right? You can actually go donate blood plasma. Then there's cytoplasma, a jelly-like substance that fills cells, suspends, and protects organelles. Okay, I'm learning too. Then there's germplasm, a zone in the cytoplasm determining germ cells. Interesting. Now, if there's something to the whole germ thing, and I'll have to look more into that. Okay, so germplasm, this is by the way, this is under Wikipedia when I did a plasma search, under the biology section. Now, I'm not going to read into all of these things. This is just the section under biology. So, germplasm describes a collection of genetic resources for an organism. Milk plasma, or whey, the liquid remaining after milk has been curdled and strained. Nucleoplasm, a highly viscous liquid that surrounds the chromosomes and nuclei. Photoplasm, the entire living substance inside the cell membrane or cell wall. Protoplasm, well, there's a couple of things that have to do with cells. Blood cells, genetic cells, chromosomes. Yeah, this is amazing. And then plasma cell, white cell, blood cells that secrete large volumes of antibodies. Well, antibodies, there you go there. So, again, this is information that I have learned about, that I got when I was researching the Keshi Foundation and Dr. Keshi's work. And this is where the plasma has come into this whole health thing for me. And then as well as it's people are taking it the next step and really creating these Tesla coil devices using geometry, like I was saying before. And this can counteract some negative electric fields. I'm really and cannot wait to do this technology myself. And I'll ask Barry once I do. And I've got actually some friends that I'm sending some things to. We're going to do our own experiment. And we're going to see if it works. And we'll give a follow-up report. I'll ask Barry to come back on and do that. Okay, so, well, we're getting along here. So, plasma products. The UK is really kind of on top of this a lot more, I'm finding out, and has really spent a lot more time doing the research overseas. This is the United States. It's really frustrating to me, folks. I think about how many people are really sick and in this country, and this is information that's not being readily available to us. Well, I'm here to tell you it is. And we can do our own research. And it is technology that we can do from home. And that's the best part to me. So let's talk about the Maggrave Power Unit and the Health Unit. Okay, so this is on the plasmaproducts.org or plasmaproduction.org. It's part of the Keshe Foundation. Coils for Power and Health. The basic components of the Maggrave Power Unit and the Health Unit are the copper Maggrave coils. The word Maggrave actually contains the basic function of the Keshe unit that creates, stores, amplifies, and directs magnetic and gravitational plasma fields, which then allows it to receive and radiate useful plasma energy from ambient space. Wow. And it's copper coils that you can get the copper. I just went to the store a couple nights ago. I got the copper. There's different. You want to make sure you get the right copper that hasn't been coated and treated, so it's in its more natural state. And I'm going to do this. I'm going to make the coils. I'm going to put my own energy intent into it. And this kind of goes back to what I was talking about a little bit ago with the planets and the stars and the moon. Our intent, our thoughts and feelings and words and how we generate our own energy that is connected to each other and the world. We're more conscious about those things. That, I think, can make a huge difference. There's a lot of negative stuff going on in the world. And I know for myself, I had to kind of stop. It's very easy for me. I'm like an information freak, obviously. And I really need to, I like to be informed of what's going on. I'm kind of more of a realist. But I'm also a very positive person, and spending so much time looking into all the negative stuff that's going on, I had to take a break from it. And that's part of what going up to the Redwoods was about for me. And obviously, it really made a huge difference. So I can't blame it all on the electronics. I really can't. I have to consider where it is that I'm putting my focus as well. And what kind of energy is coming off of that? What kind of energy am I also putting out by constantly thinking about those things? Years back, and I'm going to get off topic here for a second, because in my own experience, this was years ago, this was before I really had a much greater understanding of really all of this within myself. A friend of mine had said to me one time that reality is an illusion. Now, I had read a book about biology and math, and these were like little puzzle pieces that all just were coming together. And one of the other things that before that even happened was taking back my power and control over my own thoughts. and feelings and words. I mean, I was giving that power away. And that's kind of when I was focusing, the same thing applies. And if I'm focusing on all this negative stuff, and I wonder how much of that is being manifested. You know, you look at the news and just everything, it's negative, negative, negative. We've got such a fear-based indoctrinations going on, and what if we're being manipulated into focusing manipulated into focusing where they want us to, and actually manifesting all that negative ourselves? I think about that. So, taking back my power and control over my own thoughts, my own feelings. Nobody can make me think anything. Nobody can make me feel anything. Sure, my feelings get hurt, but it's up to me how long I want to hang on to that. So it was really about taking back my power and control over myself and my own mind and my own thoughts, and not allowing this outside influence. Now that came into play with the whole creating my reality thing. And I decided that I wanted to have a home that was peaceful and not allow anything negative to come into it. And that's exactly what I did. It really was a lot easier than I thought it would be. It was a lot easier for it to become a habit. When I was conscious, when I was aware of what I was thinking and what I was feeling and who was around me. And so I took that control back in my life. And I just said, I'm not going to allow anything negative. My thoughts, if a negative thought came, I stopped it and I refocused into something positive. And I tend to have a way of being able to see the positive in everything. And really, I mean, experience. Let's just go with experience. Experiences, positive experiences and negative experiences. And really, there's no such thing as a negative experience if you learn and grow from it. Then it becomes a positive by default. So I applied all of this into my own life, in my own environment. My home is a sanctuary. My home is literally a sanctuary. It's a peaceful place. I have the people around me who are all caught up in drama and just all of that kind of negative influence. I don't watch television. I haven't for years. And I stopped focusing on all the negative things. I do like to stay informed, and there's some things that I do still stay informed about, but I don't make it the focus of all of my day. My next step is to get away from the computer altogether. But I'm getting there, because it really, really, off-grid was beautiful. Pain-free is beautiful. So there really is something to this whole taking back your power and control. And if I can learn about this energy, this power, and this health energy, and it's technology that I can do right from home, then you add in the herbs, and you add, there's so many alternatives that are so much better for us. And I'm really, really looking forward to making some of those changes in my life. But this technology right here, we're talking about being able to stop pain without pain medication. And that's an epidemic in this country, in the United States. And I really would like to have something that's simple, that's an alternative, that's using the natural environment to help people with pain. So we're going for it. I'm going to make some of this technology here this weekend, and we're going to follow up and see how it all goes. As far as the research I've done, there are plenty of people who swear by all of this, that it's helped them tremendously. So we've got the coils for health and power. You've got the generating electricity, reducing your electric bill by 50%. This is all stuff that's out there that we can do ourselves. I would love to reduce my bill by 50%. In fact, my bill this month was 50% higher than it was last month because we ran the heater. So that's where we're at with that. So the copper is a conduit, right? The copper is a conduit. And there are a lot of people out there who are just doing work with that, with the Tesla coils, with generating electricity. This is something like, what if the electrical grid goes down? This is something that I actually learned about, the Maggrave technology, that way back. Who knew that it would come full circle into this whole scenario with the health, helping with the health? I think that's beautiful. So there's lots of Maggrave. I would recommend going and looking into it. I think it's a good thing to know about for if, just in case, you need a power supply, if the electrical grid goes down. Here we go, right here. This is something you can do. Copper wire, you can get that anywhere. So it's just learning how to actually do the coil. And there is something to it. You have to make sure that it's wound a certain way and right in the proper direction to make sure that the energy is flowing properly. And it's very easy to do. Very, very easy to do. There's lots of really great videos out there that people have come up with the different designs, some smaller, some bigger. I love science, so I'm looking into it. Okay, so let's talk about then the whole plasma GANs. What is GANs? And GANs is a process in which you can take plasma from the... Well, let's see if I can find something to read, because I'm not good at explaining it. I've never retained technical terms, so I hope everyone's bearing with me. So plasma is the fourth state of matter. The fourth state of matter? The fourth state of matter, okay, right. Plasma is the fourth state of matter. Many places teach that there are three states of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. Guess what, folks? We've got a fourth one, and it's plasma. It's very simple. A plasma is an ionized gas, a gas into which sufficient energy is provided to free electrons from atoms or molecules and to allow both species, ions and electrons, to coexist. The funny thing about this is that as far as we know, plasmas are the most common state of matter in the universe. Wow. Really? And we weren't taught about this stuff in school, folks. There's your undereducation system for you. Okay, so funny thing about this is that as far as we know, plasmas are the most common state of matter in the universe. They are even common here on Earth. A plasma is a gas that has been energized to the point that some of the electrons break free from, but travel with, their nucleus. Gases can become plasmas in several ways, but all include pumping the gas with energy. So, there it is there. The plasma has energy. And when you extract the plasma, and there's different kinds in this GANs technology that are from different metals that, just like other minerals, help our bodies and our systems and our electrical state of being in different ways. So one way that people are using this technology, when they get that plasma, when they extract that plasma, the energy is there. It's there within the plasma. It is always radiating that energy. And if you, say, put it around, like, if you soak pads of material in it, and the water that is near it that is absorbing all of that energy, this is part of the process, and what they're finding is healing in pain and other ways. So the water, even just the water, if we can energize our water into a really positive energy, and which then is absorbed into us, our energy becomes healthier and drinking that kind of water. Now, you don't put the plasma inside the water, you put the water near the plasma, and it absorbs that energy, just like in our atmosphere here, in our homes, and building it and using it to emit that energy to counteract some of these other negative energies that are influencing us in a negative way. So let's continue reading here. There are even common here on Earth. A spark in a gas will create a plasma. A hot gas passing through a big spark will turn the gas stream into a plasma that can be useful. Plasma that can be useful. I lost my... plasma you will see is that, dear friends, to all of us, the sun. The sun's enormous heat rips electrons off the hydrogen and helium molecules that make up the sun. Essentially, the sun, like most stars, is a great big ball of plasma. I did read a definition of plasma in this GANS. Now, GANS is again, we'll get to that, but it's pulling the plasma off of the metals. And so there's carbon dioxide GANs and zinc GANs, and these different minerals have different health benefits. So, and I heard, and what I read was, which I thought was interesting, was there's like plasma is a bunch of little tiny suns. And that's the energy that's coming off of that plasma, these tiny, tiny nanoparticle suns, which is pretty cool. I wonder how much of that is really within us, too. Okay, don't want to get off topic again. Scientific models claim that there are 3 slightly different energies within a neutron, a quark, 1 up quark, and 2 down quarks. According to Ochelli, however, tiny magnetic fields are the real fundamental particles originating from the cosmic magnetic soup. In other words, the foundation of matter is not similar bits of matter. Rather, the foundation of matter is energetic frequencies that, when combined with other similar frequencies, create the new energetic frequencies that manifest as physical matter. Wow, that was a mouthful. And I think I absolutely feel that this is true. Frequency. I mean, our words are we've already we talked about at the very beginning how the electromagnetic impulse of our heart can be read wireless 15 feet away from us. That tells me right there that there's a frequency and there's an energy that's carried in that frequency. And we know that sound is a frequency. Our words make sounds. I think this is very, very important that we pay really close attention to our words and really learn what our words actually mean. That's a whole nother thing. That's a whole nother program. If you don't know about etymology, it's the root origin of words, and you will be surprised what the actual meaning based on the root origin of some of our words are. Something to look into. And it doesn't surprise me that the English language is a universal language, considering what's really going, or not the universal, but the planetary language, whatever. That it doesn't surprise me because our words are really messed up, and the vibration that comes with that in the things that we say. I don't know if you guys have ever seen that study where they did different music with plants. There's the rice one where they just put a word, and once a day people would walk up and in one jar of rice they would say a negative word to it, and the other one they'd say a positive word to it, and one turns moldy, and the other one it just thrives. Some kids in school actually did a study with that rice, with the Wi-Fi, and the results were the same. If you set that next to your Wi-Fi, it doesn't grow. It kills it. It turns black. If the other one that's set in another room that isn't next to the Wi-Fi, it's fine. It thrives. So what is that about? That tells me a lot. That tells me a lot. It tells me I need something to counteract all this stuff. And it's going to be up to me to figure that out because they're not letting us know, whoever they are, the powers that shouldn't be. So let's continue on here. A neutron can decay into the plasma of a proton and the plasma of an electron, and both will still contain parts of the matter trinity of the original neutron. They have each an individual and together an overall magnetospheric condition, which is governed by magnetic and gravitational field strengths. So here we go with the magnetics. Plasma is a very, very interesting thing. I think it's fascinating that it's a fourth state of matter. I don't remember learning that in school at all. That could be me. No, I don't remember learning that in school. Well, I don't know when they figured that out. Probably a long time ago. We just didn't get it in school. Okay, so we're going to wrap this up. We're going to wrap this up with GANs, and I'm going to let you know what that is. What is GANs? GANs is nano-solid state at room temperature. The GANs is a new material discovered by Dr. Keshi, and this GANs is something of a superconductive goop, which is very interesting. When this GANs material is spun within a KPG, the centrifugal forces within the superconductive material produce dynamic ionization, a vortex of electrons. I just lost my thought. A vortex of electrons. And this vortex then induces a magnetic and gravitational field, a maggrav field. By adjusting the spin rate of the generators, you can control the strength of the maggrav fields. These generators are currently being developed for energy generation, for energy generation and transportation all around the world, and with the guidance of Dr. Keshi and the Keshi Foundation. So there you have it. So the GANs, there's plenty of, again, information out there this is technology that you can do right in your home. And extract the GANs, make the plasma, and then use that GANs, the energy that's held within it, in making your Tesla coils even that much more energetic, making some of these health healing, energy healing products that are available out there. And the research is really showing it. So let's see what else we have here. Understanding of the ultimate reality. We've got the state of matters. So we're going to go on here. So it gets kind of technical. But I don't want that to dissuade anybody. I mean, obviously, I can't retain a technical term to save my life. But I understand it when I read it. And I know that it's technology that I can do from home. And the supplies for it are minimal cost. So, and if research is showing that this is technology that's working, that can make me feel better health-wise, that can make me feel pain-free, that can counteract the negative energies that are being produced with the Wi-Fi, this is all science, folks. This is all research that you can do on your own as well. And I really do recommend that people start looking into it. I really think that it's the next kind of wave in our greater understanding of how we work as electrical beings, how the world around us is electrical frequency, vibration, and it really is a matter that is so pervasive in our entire existence that to not really have a better understanding of it is only keeping us from knowing our greatest potential, in my opinion. And I think it's been technology that's been used against us as well. When I say against us, you know what I mean. It's technology that's available out there that using these frequencies, we're looking at the weather and what's going on with that. And even on the Wikipedia site with the plasma, I told you there was a whole section about the sciences and technologies, and it says right there, plasma weapons. What? So just like with anything else, it can be used for good and it can be used for bad, positive and negative. And I think it is up to us to choose which we want to use it for. And it's up to us to be aware of what is the technology out there, what is the biology out there, what are the available benefits that seem to have been kind of kept off of our radar in our education system, at least in my age range, that it's frustrating to me. I think the whole place really, perspective. If you're focusing on all the negative things that are going on, and you're missing out on the research, doing your own research into seeing the positive things that are available out there. And I really think that those are the places that we need to start focusing on. And hearing what other people are doing with this technology, that we're just not it's not mainstream. It's not mainstream. I'm very, very hopeful. One of the main reasons I'm very hopeful is because I can do it myself from home. And if in fact this is going to work, and I'll do a follow-up with Barry, and we'll see what happens. But I feel within myself somewhere that there's something to this plasma, and there's something to the energy that it produces that is actually more amazing than we even think. Than we even already know. Well, not me as in we, but you know what I'm saying. So that's my goal, is to find these positive things that are available to us, positive ways of healing, positive ways of thinking and feeling, coming together as a species. I think that we've been disconnected for a very long time. That is my goal. I'm Sunshine On, and I am really just kind of new into radio, sort of. Been around a little bit, but not that much. And I appreciate you bearing with me today. I did have a guest who was supposed to come on with me and talk about more about this stuff. Unfortunately, he wasn't able to make it. I hope he's okay, actually. I think that might be something with maybe the weather down in Peru. But I encourage everybody to look into these technologies and support these technologies. See what you can do for yourself at home in learning about, positive energies, positive natural healing alternatives. I think that we can all become healthier and happier, and teaching our children these things as well. Our education system isn't doing that. So it really is. It's always up to us to come together. I appreciate Barry and the Big Puzzle letting me have this opportunity to be here today and share this information with you guys. I thank you so much for bearing with me, and I hope that you'll be coming back here to UCY TV and enjoy the next program that's coming up and available. You all have a great day, and we'll see you next time.